Good morning, afternoon, good evening, and good night to wherever you are in the world. Thank you for checking out the channel. My name's Darkstar, and in today's episode, it's all about farming during Valhalla. This is a pre-recorded episode, and it will be very repetitive, but hopefully this episode will help you in any way or giving you advice to farm during Valhalla. So this part of the game has always been my favourite part for me, as everything in terms of my strategies and how I play revolve around Valhalla. So first things first, the only time you should ever use your World Energy Flasks and loot tickets is during Valhalla. Honestly, there's no other time of the month or the year that you should use these items. If this is the only fights you take from this episode, please save them for this event, and this is the reason why. The time during Gift of Valhalla, all map stages give you 50% plus rewards in troops, heroes and resources. It's incredible. I have never needed to search for swords, pouches or trainers, scrolls or anything outside of Valhalla, as I get my entire month loads of goodies plus more from this event to set me up for the rest of the month. For me, I do my farming on Region 4, Stage 5, as the amount of pouches I get from this level and trainers are the right amount I need to be able to continue my 2 training camps 2s for the rest of the month. You can train on any level, but this is the one that I choose in particular. Always do your loot tickets on Legendary, as that is where you get your inferior hearts. Using the loot tickets, it allows you to skip all the fighting instantly. You're able to instantly win the round, and using this amount of loot tickets in bulk, plus the 50% extra rewards, heroes and troops that you receive from doing the map stages, I cannot say how much this has helped me truly in the game. And as you can see, give or take throughout these, I'm going to be getting about 30 to 40 pouches per flask. It's phenomenal. Before I hit level 70, my pure focus was on XP, and everything else was a bonus in my mind. Valhalla was the perfect opportunity to allow myself to go up 2 to 3 levels at a time. I even managed to go up 3 to 4 levels twice during my game time. The reason was because of all the World Energy Flasks. Their energy increases the higher you go. The more energy you have, the more times you could farm or complete quests without waiting for it to recharge. Anything you do in the game, Titan Flasks, Raid Flasks, they always stay the same. Titan Flasks always have 3, Raid Flasks always have 6. But you're able to increase the World Energy Flask all the way up to level 70. Unfortunately, you can go higher in levels, but the actual cap for World Energy Flask is 50 when you hit level 70. After hitting level 70, my goal has shifted to leveling my heroes, projects, and stocking up my training camps with feeders ready for the Alliance Cup. During Valhalla now, I am able to level up 10 heroes, and I try to do 2 of each colour, or 4 stars and 5 stars, depending on what projects I have at the time. It also depends on what mood I am in, and if my mind scatters or I have a different idea in terms of what I want to do, or go from there really. A bit gibberish, but I try to focus. My focus at the moment is St. Valentine, Matilda, Valley, Throne, or any hero that I have multiples of. To if I'm able to get those multiple heroes done quickly, it frees up more space in my hero roster to allow me to be able to get more heroes in at a time. Now, the only other time I level up is during the Alliance Cup, and I only level up the 3 stars, but that's a strategy for Limit Break. I will be doing a episode on my hero projects for limit breaking, so please check that out on the channel when that drops. So as you can naturally see, it's very repetitive, but the amount of troops, the amount of heroes that you get by doing this, I wouldn't have been able to without the loot tickets and the world energy flasks. And this process stays the same, and you stick with it until you run out of flasks or you run out of tickets. Now, I did use a calculator beforehand, checking out my level and the amount of experience I needed. I worked out I'm going to be using about 61 world energy flasks and roughly about 500 to 550 loot tickets before I go up another level. And these loot tickets I have gathered between both Valhallas, through the academy, through loot. Well, look, I got the loot tickets from practically everything you can think of, really. Chests, from Titan loot, from tournaments. I will point out that I've saved up these loot tickets from 2 Gifts of Valhalla to be able to do this episode. I am a cheap to play player, and I do spend the option of gaining any option that allows me to get loot tickets, as this truly progresses me in the game. Now we're going to come to a very important part of how I'm able to do this amount of heroes or this amount of trainees in one go, as they do pile up. I use my alchemy lab to store the food. By taking the food out of the alchemy lab, it allows me to be able to continue this strategy that I do during Valhalla. You do not get enough food resources per stage when you do this. Therefore, I need to store food outside of Valhalla to be able to do this process. And I use the alchemy lab. I do have 2 training camps, 20s running, and I do have over 200 days worth. But I find that when you take it out of the training camp 20, you've got 100 recruits that you've got to find a place for. And again, you don't have the actual food to do it. So I find the alchemy lab is best to store food. I have done an episode on the alchemy lab in the beginner's guide, and I will be releasing that shortly. So please check back at the channel to see that released. Now, a very important tip is always check before you use your loot tickets in bulk that you have enough space for all the new heroes that you receive. Now, if you don't, you lose them. As simple as that. Now, if you had 14 spaces in your roster and you just received 20 heroes, those 6 heroes are lost. So every time you do collect heroes from doing this, always make sure you have enough space in your roster to be able to gain all the heroes that you receive. Now, with the power of editing, I will be skipping a lot of parts, as I'd rather you be playing your own game than watching me do mine. But again, anything in these episodes, if they help you or give you any tips or advice and it helps you, please let me know in the comments. And with the power of editing, I'm going to jump to the next stage of doing my Valhalla farming. What I do wish with the game is that it allows you some way of being able to store the iron besides using it in the craft building. Now, with food, you can store it in the alchemy lab if you do it the right way. You can store it in the training camp along with recruits. But with iron, there is no other options besides crafting something in the craft shop or craft building. you have to make sure you choose the right item to craft. In the last Valhalla, I did the electric orb, and I had over 500 orbs, as I had enough materials during the Valhalla to keep it going. Unfortunately, in this one, where I thought I would try using it for the meteor attack, I did not get enough materials to be able to continually make that option, and therefore I did waste a lot of iron in this Valhalla. I'm not particularly worried about that, as iron, you don't have much use for iron after you finish your base. What I could have done, if I had realised at the time, as I had plenty of food crates, I could have, in my Hunter's Guild, made harpoons. Therefore, I would have had 2 buildings using the iron. I would have used some food, but then I wouldn't have wasted so much iron that I have done. And you will be seeing that later on in this episode. So I'm going to go to another jump in the edit. Okay, so if you complete enough map stages during Valhalla, you're able to get a gift of a new avatar. This one, I will be absolutely honest with you, I'm not particularly fussed on. So you will not be seeing this one in my avatar status. Okay, this is another point that during the leveling in Valhalla, you will level your heroes to this next stage, but I'm not going to ascend my heroes to the next stage because they use up a lot of food. So this is where I progress onto my second hero of the colour, being able to save that food for another hero, and I will ascend them outside of Valhalla when I know I got that food spare. Burmog I've fully leveled up, so I'm going to be moving on to my next nature hero to level up, which is a 4-star Vida, and I'm going to be leveling up my blue 4-star Indian chief, which I really need to be able to pronounce these names, but I can't, so there's no point trying to deny it. I'm not good at pronouncing these names, but Ilipa, Iba, Ayabapa, I can't say his name. Either way, I've done the same thing here. I've got him to Ascension. He's not as much food as it is to level up the 5-star, so I am going to level him up, and I can continue to level him with the rest of the blues doing Valhalla. Now the winter portal has opened up, and the latest Christmas themed hero that they've added to the roster is called Noel, and he is definitely a hero I recommend getting. If you get him, congratulations, because he is a really good hero, and I'll be dropping an episode on him and discussing about his abilities. On that subject, please let me know in the comments if there's any specific topics that you want me to cover, or any specific part of the game that you would like me to look into or make an episode about. Would love to know your feedback on the episodes that I do. It's nice to know if it does help you, if me doing these videos or not. So if you can leave a comment, I would really appreciate it. Okay, so we're going to be wrapping up this video soon. As you can notice, I have gone up another level and come into a grips with my St. Valentine's Matilda almost complete. I've managed to level up a couple more of my 4-stars up to tier 3, level 1. I'm hoping to get them up to tier 4 or stage 4 shortly. Again, none of this would have been possible if I didn't prepare. If you don't prepare for these events or use a strategy to benefit yourself in this game, then you lose out on the potential of all these resources. So always try to prepare yourself. Like I said, hopefully these tips from this episode will help you. Hopefully it will help you during the game or improve your gameplay. But other than that, that's a wrap. All together from doing these loot tickets, I've used over 500 loot tickets. I've used 71 NC flasks, and I have gained over 2,000 recruits for my 2 training camp 2s. I have gained 500 ethereal hearts and a ton of 1-star and 2-star troops, which I will be doing an episode on shortly now that the clock tower is active. So do come back and check out the channel for that episode when it drops. I'm going to leave that as it is. So as always, may the tiles be forever on your side. Goodbye for now.